This channel is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. Oh, I hope you all had a great weekend. It is starting to turn the weather over here in Seattle, Washington, and I'm excited to see the sun once again. We'll hopefully be able to make it outside a little bit more often. Today, I'm really excited if you're here joining us on YouTube or in our live session right now. If you are a first-time viewer of our YouTube channel, hit that notification and the subscribe button, or come join us live here every Tuesday and Thursday by going to creditoracademy.com and hitting the join live now and hit the Tuesday link. This is going to be a bombshell, what I hope to be an aha moment. We're going to go off of what we talked about last week, Thursday, which is Patrick Devine or P. Devine versus Paul Michael Rowland. What are the competing theories? Are there differences? Is Paul Michael in what he's teaching and putting together in the academy the exact same as Patrick Devine? If there is differences, what are those differences? And is Paul Michael changing his tune? Is he totally ditching Patrick Devine and doing his own thing? All of that and more will be answered in this small series. Now, last week, I really went into just kind of the overall big picture, the big picture of Patrick Devine and the final process. And I talked about how that we got into this mess in the first place, and how there's two different, there's Patrick Devine in his final process was teaching you how to be an individual banker. An individual banker. Imagine you're going to school. Remember when I was in nursing school and you went to school and went to that program? When you graduated nursing school and you paid your tuition, the expectation is that you would be a nurse, right? The same thing with Patrick Devine and with Creditor Academy. Patrick Devine says, if you follow my step-by-step, you will become a what? An individual banker, or an individual banker for a private bank. When you come to Creditor Academy, I have a different term. You will graduate and become what I call a sovereign capitalist, okay? So what is the difference, or what similarities are there between Patrick Devine becoming an individual banker and Paul Michael's sovereign capitalist? And I'm going to show you my methodology here on how I brought that together. If you did not catch part one of this series, and especially if you're a student of the academy, you have to go watch part one. Part two is not going to make as much sense without watching part one, because I'm painting a picture. And part two is all about the SPC versus Patrick Devine's non-UCC. One of probably the biggest questions I get, Paul Michael, why do you do a public UCC? Why not the non-UCC? Do you not do a non-UCC? Wow. That's a big question, and I want to be able to answer it thoroughly for you. But in order for me to answer it properly, we have to go back in time. We have to go back months and months ago when I first came onto this channel and go over and cover the basic teachings of Patrick Devine, so you have some understanding about what he was trying to convey for his final process. So, without further ado, this is my favorite document of Patrick Devine. Amazing document. Amazing. So, understanding the two money governments of America, the non-UCC of 1787 versus the UCC of 1913. Patrick points out that the non-UCC is the Constitution for the United States of America. It's the universal hard asset labor money for the monetary corporation. Labor is tax exempt, and the bankers cannot claim a usury bar interest on this money. It is our superior banking contract. Really big emphasis on superior banking contract. Now you have the UCC of 1913. Well, the all caps for-profit corporation United States under the Universal Commercial UCC Contract Trust paper money system, the UCC Shadow Monetary Corporation is run by the shadow bar UCC bankers as a foreign kleptocracy, which is an unconstitutional UCC contract trust usury government. And a kleptocracy is ruled by political and judicial bar UCC thieves. I mean, the amount of political strife that we have with the corruption of politicians that are not doing for the people, but really lining their pockets. I mean, geez, they are one of the best stock market traders I've ever seen online. They are amazing, and they made a lot of money. Okay, so let's pause here for just a moment, okay, and let's digest this, okay? I want to talk about Patrick Devine, okay, just really quickly. And he came onto the scene historically around 2006, 2007. You could argue that he really gained traction in 2008, okay? So from 2008 to 2017, that's when he left the scene, okay? So that's 10, 11 years, all right? 10, 11 years of information. Have you ever listened to Patrick Devine's audios? Maybe you went to another channel that maybe specifically posts all of Patrick Devine's old audios. And when you hear him throughout the years, what does he do? He changes his process. He updates it. The more information that comes out, he contributes that information to his final process. Isn't that right? And that's kind of frustrating, isn't it? Because you're like, I just listened to him for 3 hours. Oh, but wait, that was a 2012 recording, and he just changed it again. God, why does he keep on changing it? Doesn't he have a final process? And this is what I really covered. And this is the final process of Patrick Devine. So I want you to sink into me for a moment, okay? From 2007, 2008 to 2017, that's a decade. What year are we in right now? We're in 2025. If he left in 2017 and it's 2025, that's almost a decade later, right? There's been arguably a lot more information that has come out in the last decade. So I'm keeping true to Patrick Devine. I'm just modernizing it due to some additional information, okay? And I'm going to show you what that information is. It's really not going to be that confusing. So let's talk about the UCC for a second, okay? And let's talk about what we talked about last week. Remember the birth certificates? You know, your commercial straw man, right? It's the commercial paper version of you. And this commercial paper is what's operated in commerce that's attached to a social security number. And that social security number is what? Used for you to fulfill your contractual duties. So if you remember, it was this that we covered last time, okay? So here is your birth certificate. This is what you're using. This is with fictional version of you, this all caps name entity is attached to what? Is attached to what? The UCC of 1913. This is constitutional, and this is, and the UCC is not, right? So we have to ask ourselves the question, if the only way we can put ourselves not into the Constitution is by contractual paperwork, then what does that mean? That means that this is part of the UCC. You are in the business corporation that's created by the state you were born in, and it's the dead paper version of you. Okay? So we have to deal with that. Okay? You want to be in the constitutional republic and use these non-UCCs, but you're already contracted because of mama into the matrix, essentially. So we got to get you out. We got to get you out. So there's my little tidbit there. So let's keep on going through this. So there's two forms of UCC commercial construction contracts. Paper money for debts and credits is set up under two construction bonds. One, a UCC contractor surety performance bond, and a payment labor bond, as combined a full funded contractor's fidelity bond. Okay? Bring those two bonds together. They're in what? Fidelity. Infidelity. Federal Reserve notes are just debt paper money, and it's used to be set off by the bills of credit paper money. If there is no bill of value, then there can be no charge or debt, meaning no contract. So let's look at the three sides of this paper money scheme. But first, let's look at you, that you are the owner of this UCC contract trust. Once again, you are the owner of this UCC debt slave system. You are the owner of this birth certificate. Okay, you have total control. You are the beneficiary. All right. So what that means is let's take this side by side. Side one is the Paper House Foundation is your own signature as the shadow foundation of your inherent and physical labor credits, loaned as the initial UCC contract trust credits to the UCC contractor. Okay, there's side one. So every time you put your signature down, you are contributing to this shadow government UCC contract trust, because that's what your birth certificate is. It's a SPC trust is what a contract trust is, the UCC. So then the second side of this is the debt money, the Federal Reserve notes created by the contractor as the shadow debt paper promises to pay the credits when demanded. This is the national debt, the shadow debt money that is in circulation today. Then finally, the third side is the UCC credit money in the form of bills of credit. This is a bill of credit. I want to start with there. This is a bill of credit. This shows credit. This is your unlimited credit. Okay? It's a bill of credit. As the shadow surety bill, your surety is what? Your surety is what? It's your straw man. It's your straw man. It's your legal fiction. It's what's attached to your birth certificate. It's your social security number. To release the credits, so every time you sign a contract with your name and social security number, it's releasing credits from your birth certificate to the Social Security Trust to fulfill the debt that is to be owed to the contractor who's getting you to contract with them for a house, a car, student loans, etc. Okay? But when you, as the owner, acknowledge, endorse, and return them to the contractor, they now owe the IRS a 1099-C, showing the debt is canceled. And this is where a lot of the fraud goes in, because they don't report the 1099-Cs. And if you don't report the 1099-Cs, then that's tax evasion, tax fraud, and they are double dipping, so to speak. Okay. I want to continue reading down here. You, as the owner of these three-sided UCC contract trusts, have the right to terminate any UCC construction contract at any time with the Treasury IRS UCC Contract Trust Department. Hold up. Stop right there. Let's bring in the light bulb moment, okay? That's what the SPC is. That's exactly what it is. You are terminating any UCC construction contracts, and you're putting yourself back in control. You're doing that by your own private trust, where you're the grantor, the living, you're the trustee, the living, and the beneficiary is what? The birth certificate, the unlimited credit that you have control over. You're kicking out Uncle Sam, who is the trustee. Right now, it's Mama, Uncle Sam, and then your debt paper version of you as the beneficiary. The trustee has total control over that debt paper money and the unlimited credits. Are they using it wisely? I don't think so. So you're establishing an SPC process to reconfigure that structure so you're back in control. Okay? Patrick Devine knew this and pointed it out in 2016, 2017. It's still true today. This is why he's the greatest guru of our time. You can also order the liquidation of all contractors' bonds and assets as your credits in order to settle all your debts. Absolutely true. As the owner, all the remaining credits belong to you as the American constitutional money under the non-UCC labor credits, which are to be deposited into your account in the Constitutional Treasury Department's depository. Okay, let's digest this. Okay, now let's bring into another point. So we got the high level. We got the high level of this. Now I want to take you on to another point. Okay. Now we're going to go here. Patrick Devine wrote, took excerpts out of what's called the UCC 9. Okay. The UCC 9 has all the UCC laws, all of them. And including this thing is like 700 pages. It's really in depth. And they changed the Article 9 UCC laws like in 1980, somewhere around there. And they added a lot of differences to the UCC 9. So much so that they did an entire broadcast service to the public to explain the new UCC 9. So what Patrick Devine did is he went into the UCC 9 laws and looked up only the sections that deal with the non-UCC, the non-UCC laws. And what he did is he took out the paragraphs that talked about it and he highlighted in bold the parts he wanted you to pay attention to. Okay? So we're going to go over that, and then I'm going to put a huge puzzle piece together for you, and you're going to see what I'm doing at the Academy that aligns with this, okay? The non-UCC laws found in the UCC 9, which is addressing the constitutional amended and statutory republic, non-UCC choice of laws in republic jurisdiction for this nation as being the superior laws of the United States of America. Deposit accounts. Under new subsection B1, the only method of perfecting a security interest is a deposit account as original collateral is by control. You got to be in control. You got to be a secured party. Filing is ineffective except as provided in section 9-315 with respect to proceeds. As explained in section 9104, control can arise as a result of an agreement among the secured party debtor and the bank. whereby the bank agrees to comply with the instructions of the secured party with respect to disposition of the funds on deposit, even though the debtor retains the right to direct disposition of the funds. Thus, subsection B1 takes an intermediate position between certain non-UCC laws, which conditions the effectiveness of a security interest on the secured party's enjoyment of such dominion and control over the deposit account that the debtor is unable to dispose of the funds, and approach this article takes this securities account, under which a secured party is unable to reach the collateral without resort to judicial process, may perfect by filing. Okay, let's digest this a little bit, because that was a lot of information. I want you to pay attention to this next part. By conditioning perfection on control, rather than requiring the secured party to enjoy absolute dominion to the exclusion of the debtor, permits perfection in a wide variety of transactions, including those in which the secured party actually relies on the deposit account in extending credit and maintains some meaningful dominion over it, but does not wish to deprive the debtor of access to funds altogether. When you go to a bank and you sign a mortgage contract, you are the debtor. You get the enjoyment of the house and the contract that you're under, and the secured party, which is the bank, gets to have dominion over it and make the rules. But it does not deprive you as the debtor of access to funds or the enjoyment of the property altogether. This is what I teach in my business trust course. Okay, I teach this in my business trust course. What I do is we're going, and I'm going to talk about SPC in a moment, but in my business trust course, when you're creating these private trusts, which is, what is a private business trust? It's these two things. You can open up any bank account, start any business with these two things: declaration of trust document and your EIN number. Not that complicated. Not that complicated. But the language that you want for your business trust should be powerful. Should be powerful. So you want the best of the best, come join the academy. I will do that. I'll get that for you. But what else do you need with this documentation? You should have a non-UCC where you list yourself, the living, as the secured party over the debtor. Who is the debtor? It's your corporate entity. It's your corporate fiction. It's the paper version extension of you. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, I wanted to connect that dot there. Okay, multiple secured parties. That's fine. Title clearing. Okay, so now I want to go over what is the SPC process. Okay, let me go ahead and go into detail. The SPC process is well, you need a comprehensive understanding of what the SPC process is all about, the secured party creditor process, the modernized version of it. First of all, it's a powerful legal tool designed to establish your financial sovereignty, your asset protection, and lawful control over your identity and your financial affairs. So I break down in my SPC class each one of the documents in the SPC packet, and I explain its purpose and discuss how to execute it properly for maximum legal benefit. And at the end of it, everybody has the necessary knowledge and steps to establish themselves as a secured party status. But at its core, the SPC packet is about reclaiming your legal and financial control. It establishes your standing in commerce, and it defines your trust structure, and it asserts your authority over your financial identity. Many people unknowingly operate under assumed contracts where financial institutions or government agencies and creditors are going to impose their obligations without your explicit consent. Everything is about consent. So the SPC packet serves as a legal rebuttal to these assumed obligations, and this will allow you to reclaim your rights and protect yourself from unlawful claims. But the fundamental aspects of the SPC process is really two things: trust law and administrative procedure. By establishing a private trust, you are legally separating yourself from liabilities attached to your public or corporate identity. The SPC packet also includes notifications to various government agencies, such as the Social Security Mortmain account in Puerto Rico is the first one. Second is the Department of Treasury. And the third is the Enterprise Computing Center, to formally inform them of your change in legal status. These filings ensure that your rights are publicly recognized and legally enforceable. And this is why we need to do that, because you have a public UCC. I know you guys are addicted to the non-UCC. I get questions about it all the time. It's like crack cocaine. But Patrick Devine said non-UCC. But you have a UCC contract trust account, okay? You do have that existing. You have a birth certificate. If you have a birth certificate, you have a social security number, guess what? You're in the debt slave system. We have to deal with that. That's step number one. You only have to do one public UCC filing statement in your life. The rest of your life, you could do non-UCCs. You'll have like 100 non-UCCs with all your different trust entities in the private. But you need to do one public filing because we need to deal with that public entity that you're personally contracted with, and to make sure that they are aware that you are no longer letting the state, Uncle Sam, begin the secured party, but now you're taking that position. So in my SPC course, I really discuss how each document functions with the broader context of like asset protection, debt removal, and trust management. And if you really understand these components, you'll be equipped to secure your financial interests and lawfully remove the liabilities and establish legal protections against fraudulent claims, or especially administrative overreach, because everything is an administrative process. Anytime you get a bill or a presentment, you now need an administrative rebuttal. How do you do administrative rebuttal? Well, you might know the administrative process. Oh, I'm going to start with an affidavit of truth. Oh, I'm going to do a conditional acceptance. I'm going to say, oh, you have a certain amount of days to reply. I'm giving you an opportunity to cure if you don't respond. You might know the method of an administrative process, but what legal backing are you going to source and reference in your administrative process about your legal status? And that's where the SPC comes in. You say, hey, I put you guys on notice. I did a public UCC. I already let you guys know at the Social Security Mortmain account in Puerto Rico and at the Enterprise Computing Center and at the IRS that I'm an SPC. And these are my injunctions of how I'm going to be operating. I put you on notice. That's what you put into your administrative process. This is how people get discharge done. You know, their foundational paperwork and their administrative process. I really want to emphasize, though, that before you dive into the documents themselves of like an SPC packet, I really want to emphasize that accuracy and precision are critical when completing these forms. Any errors, inconsistencies, or incomplete filings could result in delays or legal challenges. So I encourage you to follow along, those who are in my SPC class, carefully and to take notes. And I have the ability for everybody to answer questions. But I also ask you, be critical. If you have done an SPC process already, be critical about what you've already submitted. Do you really understand the other organization's paperwork and what they had you do? Did they tell you what comes afterwards, after you submit the paperwork? Hey, I got $100 million bond. Well, I got $100 million. What do I do? Well, I can't help you past that. You filed the paperwork. Congratulations. You got $100 million. Post it up on your wall back here. Tell your friends. They'll think you're cool. And then go back to your trailer. Nothing against trailers, nothing against it. Nothing against it at all. No, I shouldn't say trailers. No, trailers are fine. They're places to live, which is good.
You are right, Paul.
Yeah, appreciate it. Trailers are fine. So you need to really know this SPC process very fluently. But this is why I'm aligning myself with Patrick Devine, but there's been 10 years later has gone by. And a public filing consensus, just one, not 100, just one, is important for your SPC process because you're doing a public notice. And the reason why you're doing a public notice is because, unfortunately, unbeknownst to you and outside of your control, because you were an infant, you were contracted into the B system. So you do a public notification to the B system just because you're already in it. Like my daughter, it's a different story. She'll immediately be using non-UCCs for her whole entire life. She won't ever have to do a public UCC because she wasn't born into the system. She's separate from it. So she will be separate from it. But remember, after you do that, then you're set to go from there, and you don't have to worry about it. So now let's go into the bigger, broader picture here, okay? Because this is part 2 series, is you need to get your SPC done. If a message specifically to Canadians, you have a huge advantage to get your SPC and your status correction done, especially with the political atmosphere that we're having right now in America, and you guys potentially becoming the 51st state, which would be exciting because I'm in Washington. I go up to Canada quite often. But for others who are in other countries like the UK, Australia, we have people from Ireland, Denmark, people from parts of Russia, and not Ukraine. It's mostly Russia, and India for sure. I want to tell you that you can still do an SPC and a status correction, and it can apply to your jurisdiction, and it would be beneficial to you to do it properly. And here's the reason why. When you come to Creditor Academy, I don't care where you live in the world, because I'm bringing you into, the only way that I can really help you is if I bring you into my jurisdiction. If I bring you into the jurisdiction of the American Constitutional Republic, I can help you out tremendously. The issue is that so many other organizations are having our international people try to do processes from their country, and you're just going to get hit with roadblocks. You need to come into the United States in order to get remedy. Does that mean, Paul Michael, that I have to be naturalized in the United States and I have to become a citizen? No, not at all. Not at all. We had 7 people in just one day through Creditor Academy be able to operate into the United States, just like that. That's what the program is for. It's to get you to operate within the United States. And it's as simple as getting an EIN number from the IRS. Remember the foreign grants or trusts? What's that? It's a foreign EIN. Anybody who gets a foreign EIN is allowed to operate in commerce in America. And this is the great thing about the commercial opportunities that we have in America, is that anybody is allowed to do business with us. Just as long as we're not in war, you're allowed to do business. So we had 7 individuals from the UK, Australia, and other parts of the world go ahead, get a foreign EIN number. They just called up the IRS. They filled out a simple form. And they said, well, Michael, okay, I got my EIN number and I got your business trust. What do I do now? And I say, you should open up a bank account and start building credit with your account. And then they're like, oh, so what do I do with that credit, or how does your credit system work in America? And I said, that's a very good question. This is why we have our trade lines course. So we can teach you about building credit in America, because it is very different. It's very different because we're the most powerful country in the world and we operate exclusively off of credit. So you have to learn our system. But once you learn our system and the game, I mean, you're unstoppable. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars of capital in just a couple months, and you're not a lot of that opportunity in your country. And what's great is if you build it in this country, you can bring it back to your country. But there's a trade-off. There's a trade-off. Who can tell me what the trade-off is? If America is benefiting you, what is America asking from you in return? Anybody know? What are they asking for?
Our credit.
Okay, that was very broad. Yes, for our credit. It's taxes. It's taxes. That's what they're going to ask for. And let me tell you, taxes in America for businesses, Trump luckily is going to be lowering them quite significantly with the new income tax laws and whatnot. It's very helpful. But man, when you're making that type of credit and doing that type of business, it could get very, very high. It can really skyrocket. It can get to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And especially with you guys and what you're trying to accomplish. I want the nicest house. I want the best car. I want the most amount of funds that I could possibly grab. Well, what's your tax statement, man, going to look like? I mean, I can't even imagine what the taxes are like in your countries when you're under communism and social health care. Now, imagine how high would it be if you tapped onto an American taxes on top of that, really high. So how do you deal with that? Well, wouldn't it be helpful if you had an account with the IRS and the Treasury Department and the Central Computing Processing Center to let them know that you have an account to where you can utilize your bonds and credits to deal with such taxes? Not legal advice, entertainment purposes only, but that is how the Americans are playing it. They're utilizing their accounts throughout the Treasury Department to deal with this tax thing, and then building up their credits and spending it on whatever they want. So anyways, so there's the kind of pillars of the academy. Is we have become private, that's SPC and status correction. Number 2 is operate in the private, which is all about business trust, PMAs, how to open up bank accounts, how to utilize, get property, assets, cars into your private entities. And then the final one, which is the trade lines course, or build unlimited credit, to where you could take these private entities and then build up your credit lines really quickly. And very, congratulations to those that already have access just from the last month and a half to 2 months that we've been doing the trade lines course. People already having access to over 100,000. And I got to tell you, if you've been in this truth movement for a while, you might be saying to yourself, man, I've been trying these 1099s. I'm trying to discharge this $50,000, $100,000 loan or something like that, let me tell you, you could get over that really fast and effectively and with guaranteed results if you really learn this credit game and how to use your SPC and status correction and operating in the private to use it to your advantage. So next time, this coming Thursday, I'm going to cover part 3 of Patrick Devine and what he teaches versus what I teach as part of the academy. There's a lot of it's a lot of similarities. It's just small nuances that we have learned in the last decade, the last 10 years since he's been gone, that are just added to the final process. That's all it is. But he is still one of the greatest monument researchers to this movement, who has paved the way for us to make such even greater discoveries based upon the firm foundation teachings that he gave to us. And his foundational teachings are the bedrock of Creditor Academy. The ID and badges is from Patrick Devine. The paperwork in the status correction that represents your status under the Constitutional Republic is Patrick Devine. The SPC packet is just more robust, but has Patrick Devine's influence all throughout it. The operating privately with the non-UCC and the trust that is used. Remember what he used to say? You can't trust nobody but yourself. He's absolutely right. And I even teach that in the trust course. You can't trust nobody but yourself. And I show you structures so then you can always be in control. And you don't have to bring in a family member, a friend to be a trustee to help you run your trusts or your PMAs. And then finally, the unlimited credit. Huge. That will be the next thing that I go into, the final part of Patrick Devine, how he got unlimited credits and how he utilized them, and how I complement that in his teachings in the academy with guaranteed success, as long as you follow the program. As long as you follow the program. So without further ado, I want to say thank you for everybody for joining us on YouTube. If you want to be a part of this live class, you can go to creditoracademy.com and hit the Join Live Now button for Tuesday, and you'll be brought into this live class, so then you can ask me questions for our after hours. With that being said, let's go to questions. Lance Hagen, let's go to you.
Thank you for putting up with me.
Love you, Lance.
We love you, Lance.
I appreciate all you've done. I mean, you've really opened up people's minds.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
And
glad you're on the journey.
I'm just saying, man, I appreciate what you've done, Paul Michael. And that's really what I wanted to say.
Oh, thank you, Lance. Much love for you, brother. Glad to always see you in classes and here in the after hours. The journey is just beginning for us, my friend, and many
I've been
great
on
things.
a journey hard for a while, and I'm telling you what, it isn't easy, but it's nice having somebody else with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for your kind words, my friend. Private Sojourner, let's go to you.
Oh, Michael, hello, my friend. My friend. First of all, I apologize. I was AWOL again, but it's always perfect timing when I come back. You explain it even more. And if you're going to teach me how to do this, I'm game. Yes, you know how I have to operate. So do you want me to just email you from our last email? I promise. I'm ready to go forward now because you explained it in such great detail. And I think when we talked that last time, I think I was trying to talk over you, I believe, and wasn't allowing you to do this whole explanation. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, we're always happy to help you. Go to creditoracademy.com and you fill out the contact us form. There's also an email that you can email counselor at Creditor Academy. But also what's really great is there's a hotline number where Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can pick up, dial that phone at any time. A representative will answer the phone and talk to you through about the whole academy.
I'm ready to go, man. I heard almost everything. I just came in a few minutes late, and I'm like, oh, he's got it down now. So, not that I didn't trust you before, but I was kind of like, how will I explain this to my people if I'm not learning this? So I have to learn it so I can share it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you. Nicholas, let's go to you.
Yes, endorsing the back of the birth certificates. We have a little right up here that we place at a 45-degree angle in red. There are 2 blank lines.
Yes.
Can you speak on that?
Yeah, signatures.
So I figured the second line is referring to your banker's signature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the first line is, where it says for presentation to the Federal Reserve Bank of, I'm assuming it's something that has to do with the U.S. Corp.
Yes, that's your routing number. And your routing number would be...
Oh, that's the SSN without dashes.
That's it. You got it.
SSN without dashes, and then it's your banker's signature.
Yep. Simple as that.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Rochester, Daniel, let's go to you.
All right. Hey, Paul. How's it going?
Hey, doing good, man. Great to see you again, brother.
Good. So you were speaking on the UCC public and the non-UCC. I'm assuming the UCC public is something you file after you do the SPC and the status correction?
No, it's part of your SPC documents, actually.
Oh, it is.
So your public UCC is part of the SPC packet. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I haven't made it through that. I made it through the correct your status documents.
Great. Great.
First of all, those are very extensive and very awesome. I mean, for me to try and put that all together on my own, I mean, yeah, I mean, like I've said before, I mean, I've been here for months since you came on here live, and yeah, I mean, that's, you know, it's
very comprehensive.
It is.
Yeah, no doubt. It took it took quite a few months to put that together.
Yeah, I would assume with a lot of minds put into it, but there's a couple things that I noticed going through it that were, you know, nothing major, but just a couple little inconsistencies. I was actually thinking about filling it out myself and submitting that back to you. I know that I paid for you guys to do that yourselves, but I'm thinking about actually filling it out myself and submitting that back to you guys. I don't know if that's an option we could explore.
Yeah, we could do a review. Absolutely. And we get that from time to time. People have some questions. So if you want to even take out a pen and underline something and, write a little comment to it. I have representatives and a legal staff that go ahead and look at your questions on paperwork. So we'd be happy to do that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Paul. Yeah. That's all I got.
No,
thank you.
Hey, thank you. Farmsteadin, let's go to you.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good, good.
So I did want to say thank you also. I know that's, I think you're doing a great job. I've done lots and lots of classes. I've been studying pretty hard for a handful of years now. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
But I did want to say I have not had success in getting the links to the classes. So I signed up 2 weeks ago today.
What? Do you have a Gmail?
I don't have Gmail. Oh no, I don't have Gmail.
There it is.
Definitely don't have Gmail.
That is it. That is it. So this is what we'll do. So you're using Proton?
No, I'm using Fastmail. It's a pretty good one. Yeah.
Okay, got you,
Yep.
got you. So yeah, so you received the links, but when you click on the link, it doesn't work, or you
I
just didn't
haven't-
receive the email.
Yeah, I just haven't received the link. Yeah. So I've been talking to the
yeah,
guy
then
that
we'll-
answers the phone,
Yeah.
but
let's get a live representative then to be on the phone with you, because that's a long time. That's a long time.
yeah.
So let's get a live representative to get to you, and then they'll be on the phone. They'll send you the link, and if you don't receive it, then we just got to troubleshoot. We gotta see what the email correspondence is, and make sure that it's going through. Maybe not, hopefully not in a spam folder or anything like
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That sounds great.
that. So that do you want the hotline number?
I have it. I've called a couple times and he said he was waiting to hear back, or I'm not sure exactly what the breakdown is. So that's what I was trying to figure out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have a new line set up for that department. If you call tomorrow at 9 a.m. between 9 and 5 Eastern Standard Time, we will transfer you to that department. We have a new representative, Jeva. Jeva is now taking over that department. Amazing woman. She's doing account management. And then send a follow-up email to Counselor Creditor Academy. That's on our website. And we'll follow up right with you, because I want you. The class starts again tomorrow for the status correction. I'd love for you to be there. Let's make sure that.
Sweet. Yes. Yeah. What time is that?
That's at. I wasn't ready for the trick question, but that is at 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, which means 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
Perfect. Look forward to seeing you then.
Thank you so much, Paul Michael.
Yeah, no worries. Jonathan, let's go to you.
What's up, man? I was just on Otter the other day and checking out your SPC class, and did record. Do you have the original recording for that?
You tried to do an AI something for the SPC or status correction courses?
Well, in the previous ones, they just recorded a transcript and a video. But this one only shows 1 minute on your recording. So I was like, maybe he has the original recording. If not, I'll just wait for the next class.
All right, we'll wait for the next class.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about that one, partner.
All right, man.
All right, no problem. Jen D, let's go to you.
Hey, everybody. I just wanted to say thank you. I received my PMA paperwork yesterday. And so I've been going through that and enjoying reading that. So it looks great. And I just wanted to let everybody know that I received it and very excited for what's coming. So
super
love it.
fun.
Love everybody. I hope everybody has a good week.
Oh, thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate it. Always great to see you in the PMA course. As part of operating privately. Super excited about that, and the many discussions that we have to cover this Friday for that class. Okay, well, everybody who is viewing us on YouTube, I want to thank you for joining us here today. If you haven't hit that subscribe or the notification bell, now would be the time to do it. Also, to join our private Facebook group, our Telegram, our TikTok, our X channel, our Rumble account, and so much more. To be a part of the movement is really to be a part of a community. And here at Creditor Academy, we want to foster a community of individuals that not only you can go on this journey with, but also to feel that, hey, I'm not alone in the way that I'm thinking. So if you'd like to be a part of that, you can go to creditoracademy.com and join our live session at any time and be here live in the after hours. We're usually here for another hour to cover more questions. You can actually raise your hand and get a free consult out of me, creditoracademy.com, and hit the live button for either Tuesday or Thursday. This Thursday, we'll be covering the last, third, and final part of Patrick Devine versus Paul Michael Rowland's way of teaching and how they're marrying together. So I could show you the comparisons and also give you some insight to what has been developing in the last 10 years since Patrick Devine left the scene. Until then, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 All right. Fantastic. Let's see.